How's it going, guys and gals? I am Advanced Warrior.
And I'm CJ.
And today, and in this video, we are going to be doing a breakdown for the map that will be played on round 1 of the Tiny Wars Open Tournament ran by both me and CJ. And for our players in round 1, they will be playing on the map Valhalla. Now here you can see that around here it's like a fairly open map. With some river tiles in the corners that could help with some walling or blocking, and a bunch of heavy terrain in the middle. So trying to reinforce, like say from here to over here, is going to be a little bit tricky because you got to go around the mountains and instead of going through all this heavy terrain here. So as you could obviously see, a 3-base 2 airport map, which kind of blows me away because why would there be 2 airports unless you want to maybe negate a property from ever healing? But one interesting thing you might see from this map, I can't move the mouse for some reason. One reason you might, well, sorry, it's fine. One interesting thing you might see from this map is like this forward base here, and you might possibly think that, okay, there's a base and there's like a bunch of roads here. It'll be easy for this base to reinforce or like go to this side, but it's not entirely unfeasible to take this base and move it through the forests and possibly down here for player 1, where it is a lot closer than the landscape side up here.
Yes, that's exactly correct. That forward base can reinforce both sides relatively quickly. It is the closest base to the front line on both sides, and because of that, there's no real clear strong side, weak side dynamic in this map in particular. What you're probably going to see instead is players will establish their strong or weak side just based on where they board their CO and where that CO goes.
Alright, so earlier, CJ, we were discussing like what would be the possible contested properties, and we kind of found out that there are some like properties that could go for swap, and then the other ones are just like up for grabs, more like less contested properties, but you could still lose them if you don't properly protect them.
Yes, so if we want to look at that for a second, some of the more contested properties are likely going to be this one on this side, on the top side, and then this one on the bottom side, are really the most contested cities where the reinforcement distance is relatively close for both players. And then there's a couple other properties as well that are more biased towards their closer sides, of course. You know, we have these 4 properties for blue, and then for red, we have this property, this one, and
Parsec delay.
So, yeah, it's a little bit hard to draw like that. But basically, there are 2 mainly contested properties, and then there's 8 more that are kind of possible, but mainly those are going to be indicative of someone having a clear advantage if they're able to take those safely. This map overall has 44 properties, I believe, something like that. And so you're going to expect both players to have about 22k income, and basically if those main contested ones that we circled earlier in green are flipped to one side or another, then you're going to see like 24k versus 20k, and that is enough over time to basically shift the game in one player's favor pretty quickly.
So because of these green properties that CJ just circled, you're very likely to see fighting like around them, possibly on these bridges or around these bridges, and it's going to be interesting to see how much these rivers or how much this terrain will impact the fight and how it would possibly limit tanks or some vehicles. So a good formation could actually go in favor of either player if they use their terrain correctly and properly form up Yeah, like either side here. What's possible COs do you think we might see for this map, CJ?
Well, with the open terrain, you're going to expect to see people like Will, of course. Having that extra direct ground unit speed is certainly helpful if you can get that CO power. And then, I don't expect to see Gauge, but artilleries aren't awful. Like there is a decent amount of open space, but later on in the game, you can see more artilleries. This area down below does get surprisingly kind of choky, especially with like the rough terrain of the woods and stuff. Those are defensive areas that you can kind of set up a wall and some indirects. I don't really expect to see Gauge, but it's still viable. And then there's, just your typical COs that you're going to see on most maps. You have your Brenners, your Isabellas, and Lynn, and etc.
Yeah,
the main one is like Will, of course, just because it is relatively open.
I personally feel like Lynn might be a little bit small for her, but it doesn't mean that you can't make her work. Lynn has good buffs. One CO that came in mind to me was possibly Forsyth, considering his zone is so big, and because it's like, some areas are fairly open, Forsyth could be something he could take advantage of with having so much space. There could be like so many units that could enjoy that little buff that Forsyth provides, and because it's so big, it's not hard to gain those buffs.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But it's as we said, some parts of the map are open, some parts of the map are a little choky because of the rivers and the heavy terrain. The two properties that we circled is likely where we will see some action on this map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's talk about maybe unit composition. I mean, we talked a little bit about tanks and artilleries. We talked about indirects do have their place. I wouldn't expect to see them as much. What do you think about airport units?
Airport units, I can see, just like the basic battle copters taking advantage of some of these river tiles. And just one weird idea that came in my head that we probably will never see. Like, say if someone decides to go indirects and destroy maybe this meteor or this meteor, it probably could allow for some quick switching for air units to go past the mountains if the meteors are destroyed, but might be a little slow, probably a little dangerous to have an indirect close to here and just try to shoot down some meteors when it could be doing something else covering the other units. But air units definitely probably played around the river tiles where anti-air may have a trickier time getting to them.
Yeah, that meteor play would be a very creative move, but that probably would not happen. But yeah, also I think with the airport being a little bit closer, it can pass by these rivers with ease and the forest, right? I think some players might opt for a battlecopter to kind of get to the front lines faster. But other than the obstruction from the rivers, AAs are quite powerful on this map because there is so much open terrain. They're not the 6 move without real obstruction means that they can exert quite a bit of influence. Just having one on each front is good enough to basically deny your opponent any effectiveness from air units. So there's that.
Yep. Alright, so Valhalla looks like a fairly simple map, but there is definitely some highlights, such as this forward base with the roads on one side and a forest to another, but fairly open once you get past that forest. These two properties, you'll pass these river tiles, definitely expect a little bit of walling, a little bit of claustrophobia for some units that they're trying to secure. set properties. Not a whole lot going in the center, and not really expected because of these mountains and these meteors that really prevent any ground units here. So if there's going to be some swapping, it'll probably be just between these mountains and these mountains here.
Yep.
Alright, so guys and gals, that is the round 1 map for the Tiny Wars Open 1. Expect the commentary videos to come out on the weekends, which is what I'm planning to do. They're not going to be in order because obviously games are going to vary but depending on the player. But I will have all the games in a playlist in order, so if you'd like to see that for yourself, if you're watching this much later, then go ahead. But yeah, as of now, the games are just going to be recorded as when they are available for us to do commentary on. There probably will still be some ongoing games, but we definitely will cover all of them the best to our ability.
Yeah, I hope you look forward to all of those games, because you're gonna see a lot of us.
You will see a lot of us. And we decided to do this separate video now because it's gonna get repetitive if we talk about Valhalla on each and every single video.
Yeah.
But as for the COs, we definitely will try to discuss them as much as we can. Alright guys and gals.
In those videos, yeah.
Yes. Alright guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you'd like to be notified when these games will be out, and I hope you guys enjoy watching them as much as we do. I am Advanced Warrior.
And I'm CJ.
And you all have our warmest regards. Please take care.
Yep. And thanks for watching.